All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday, Saturday, Thursday night, whenever you're listening. 12 fights, 6 p.m. Eastern, so no early violence like we had last week. I always enjoy that, but a normal 6 p.m. Eastern back at the Apex. 12 fights, fingers crossed we do keep all 12, Big Marley. The magic number, if we do, let me just say it's an interesting DFS card. Only one mid-tier fight, and that's mid-tier is 8,500, 7,700, only one, 8,400, 7,800. After that, it's stars and it's scrubs. So any thoughts on that? Any thoughts on this card and how we doing?
Yeah, I think it's a tough card. I think there's lots of high ceilings for the favorites, and it's a card where I really like every single favorite to win. I ended up picking one or two underdogs on the card, but no real faith in them. There's several that are live, so I think it's just going to be mixing different underdogs and hoping to get it right. And then you're going to have to get the favorites that end up scoring 110, 115 on this card. And that could be a mixture of a lot of people. So I'm kind of hoping you can clear it up for me a little bit, because I'm pretty confused myself on this card. So we'll see how it goes.
All right. Yeah, I like working together. I have a couple fights, a couple opinions that I need of yours. I'll try and give some to you. Hopefully we can narrow down our player pool a little bit. A lot of the upper tier wrestlers. Like we could see 8-9 takedowns from some of these guys up top, which could lead to 130-point scores that you absolutely need. So but you only can have one mid-tier fight that will be owned. The stars and scrubs route is the way many will go. The main event, pretty solid one right here we will get to. But got to say hi to people. Ben, YSN, Joanne. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Everyone hanging out. Like button helps us out a ton. Subscribe button helps us out a ton. Big Marley, I say we get right into it with the first fight of the night. I'm going to go from the stone. The order has switched. So on Tuesday, I put all these odds up. The order might have switched a little bit. I'm just going to go based off of how we have it on the stone, though. First fight, Austin Bashi, also the highest price fighter, taking on John Yanis. The odds were minus 600 on Wednesday when this line came out. Now we're looking at minus 700 Austin Bashi. The only prop I see under 1.5 plus 135. But I don't see an individual inside the distance or anything like that. Bashi, Michigan guy, shout out to Hoop. Lost to C-Rod in his debut. Had a lot of hype on him, though. One of those guys, look at 8.39, his contender series fight in his debut. Wrestle. He's got upside. What are you doing in this one?
Yeah, I'm Bashi or pass on this one. I do like Bashi. I think it looks like a knockout or bust type of fight for Yanis. If he can keep the feet on the, if he can keep the fight on the feet, then he can have a chance. But Bashi's just too good of a wrestler. And when you have your debut against a guy like Christian Rodriguez, that's a tough one to get a win in. But now they're giving him a win by bringing this other guy in. And I was just going back and watching some of Bashi's old regional film. And he looks like a really good wrestler, going in for double legs often as well. And I think he could land 10 to 15 takedowns if this guy can keep getting up for 15 minutes. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to land one or two and then lock up a submission probably in the first round. I think he dominates this fight. So give me Bashi. I don't know how much I can afford at $9,600 when I don't really like underdogs. But I definitely want Bashi exposure. If I'm making one lineup on this card, I'm gonna try to get Bashi in, and then if I can't, I'll just move down where I need to. But I like Bashi to dominate this fight on the mat.
I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit, but I think it's important. It's one of the questions I had for Big Marley. So Bashi, Estam, and Taira. Who do you think has the most takedown upside? Obviously, Taira has an extra 10 minutes to work. And then how do you look at those three in DFS? All similar? Yeah, just those three I want to group in because they're all primary wrestlers. looking at the stone, Estevam, Bashi stand out more than Taira, and I do think that's probably the case, but Taira has, again, another extra 10 minutes if it gets there.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like Taira and Bashi to get submissions, and then maybe Estevam could be the guy that gets 10 takedowns and a decision win. But I think they all kind of flirt with 110 or so. So I don't really have any real lean on them. I think I'll have similar exposure to all of them, really.
Yeah, that makes sense. And on a card like this, like if you are playing Taira, like you can leave the 400, the 300, whatever it may be, 100 from Estevam to Bashi. You can always leave money. I will say, too, we're going to get some of these fights, but this next fight, so it kind of will all make sense. Like Pierre Rodriguez at 8,700, Zeleleski dos Santos at 8,800, Carol Hosa at 86. I don't love any of those three. Like, I do want to get up to that next range, the Estevans of the world, Rebecki's of the world, even Rodolfo in that range. Like, I think the next people above have a lot more upside than them right there. They will probably be lower owned, so I'll use them in chalkier teams, but that's just a segue. I'll go right there. I don't love that little group. And I think dropping down to that mid-tier fight, Pulio of Klein, and just leaving money, I think is a way I'm going to be doing it for sure. So I'll say that again when we get closer. I just find that it's a dead range. I want to get above or I want to get below to that mid-tier fight. Pierre Rodriguez, minus 220. Ketlin Souza, plus 185. Minus 285 for this fight to go the distance, which is one of the most likely on the card. Both girls the same inside the distance prop at plus 410. Just give me the underdog. Give me the savings in this one mainly. However, Pierre Rodriguez almost seems like a primary wrestler nowadays. If we're looking at the stone, that's how I would read it. 4.92 significant strikes for Souza, 0.43 takedowns. Rodriguez only 3.4 significant strikes, 4.06 takedowns. Can Rodriguez get you 6 takedowns in this in a decision win? Because then she might be enough and she'll be low owned. But yeah, Souza is definitely my preferred play and my pick to win. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm going to probably just mix in both sides of this one. My preferred play is going to be Rodriguez because of her wrestling. And yeah, I guess she does kind of look like more of a primary wrestler lately, but I think she is a primary boxer, or at least started that way and then shifted more to the wrestling. I like her boxing as the best overall aspect of the striking between the two of them. But if this is a 15-minute striking match, then it's going to be close just based on volume alone. Souza might hit harder as well. So it's really the wrestling that we need from Rodriguez, especially for her to look like a 2-1 favorite. But I think she could get 4 to 6 takedowns on this one. Probably won't have crazy takedown or crazy volume on the feet along with that. But if she can get 4 to 6 takedowns and lock up half of the 15 minutes in control time, she could put up a decent score. So 8,700 at lower ownership. I'm definitely interested in Rodriguez as an ownership type of play, and I am picking her to win because of her wrestling. But on the other end, Souza is a live dog. I'm looking for live dogs, so I'll be throwing her in as well. I have it as a 4-2 Rodriguez. Once I start building lineups, if I end up with more Souza than I thought, I'll make it either a 3-3 or even a 4-2 Souza. So this might be one that changes based on my ownership when I'm done building.
What about Zeleleski, Hosa, and Piera? How do you look at those three?
Vieira, I'm playing. The other two, I'm not.
Perfect. I like it. Absolutely like it. Shout out to you, Ryan War. Great to see you. Can't wait for football season coming up. Mateus in here, the Bills. Look at that. Perfect timing. Hall of Fame game tonight as well. I'm not in the DFS streets. I remember, though, just a couple years ago, I was grinding every little thing. I was in the preseason streets. Shout out Little Neck. He made a tower, put it in the Discord. Always great knowledge. A lot of stuff in the Discord. If you do want to join us for NFL seasons, you guys can see absolutely the cheapest price in the industry. Cheapest does not mean just less work, though. The quality of work, college football, a lot of free stuff in that $349. College football is one. I think it starts like August 23rd. Cannot wait for the college football season. Shout out to our team. You also get SaberSim, the best optimizer around. When you sign up, like right now, if you do, you get all access. You get all of our MMA content, PGA content, MLB content, all access until NFL season there. And then you get on August 6th, a mystery bonus. We're going to come out with a very, very exciting little thing, I want to say, but it's actually a really big thing. And you have a chance to parlay some of that $349 into a lot more money. It's going to be really unique, really special. That's all we can say about that. Tune in August 6th. We would love to have you, though. You get in the Discord. You get locked in with us. You get college football. You get NFL. You get everything you need. We would absolutely love to have you at the Nation. Also have weekly and monthly options if you would like to join and check us out. All right. Said hi to everybody. Let's get back to the action. Going to that another big favorite who I grouped into the Bashies, the Tairas of the world. Rafael Estevam, minus 550, a big favorite. Taking on Felipe Bunes, plus 400. Minus 105 for this fight to finish. Estevam plus 170 inside the distance. Bunes plus 400. So it stands out to me a couple things. Minus 460 on Tuesday, now minus 550. But Bunes plus 400 inside the distance, plus 400 money line. If Bunes wins, they think it's going to be a finish. Hearing that means I want to play someone who's going to be super low owned at a very cheap price when I don't like many dogs. If they win, it's going to be a big boy score. Sure, I'll mess around. I'll get some. Estevam's cardio a little questionable as well. But, yeah, I want to play Estevam. He's my preferred play. He's one of those guys that can get you 140 in a decision.
Yeah. Bunes, he's going to be the better striker in this one. But if it's a striking match, I do think he would just finish Estevam at some point. Estevam's going to be the wrestler. He could rack up 5. He's going to need to rack up at least 5 in this one to 10 takedowns for him to even win, because that's really all he's got. He doesn't have great striking. He's not even willing to throw many strikes on the feet, and he also doesn't have great cardio. Neither does Bunes, to be honest with you. So either one of these guys could tire out and get finished. But Bunes could submit him. Even with one of these takedown attempts, I think he could grab a neck and submit him. So 6,700, he could put up 100 points right off the bat. And if you don't have him, you're screwed. So I definitely think I'm going to be overweight to Bunes. But I always like the wrestler who can score 120 in a decision win. So I'm picking Estevam to win. He's my preferred play. But he's going to be the field's preferred play too. So when it's all said and done, I might have more leverage to Bunes, more exposure to Estevam.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean, Bunes could legit be like 7% on this card. Plus 400, you're getting a lot better odds than 7%. I like it. I'm going to play some Bunes. I definitely like Estevam. I like Bashi Estevam a lot. When I rank them, I actually prefer those two than Taira. A lot of the reason has to do with I think they're lower owned. Part of that is because they are higher priced. They're a lot bigger favorites. But it's just like, man, like if they get taken down, like Bunes could get right back up. Then he just gets dumped again, right back up. Taira is such a good control grappler, or can take the back and just stall out the round, which is like better in real life, but it's actually worse in DFS. So I'm Merab's so good and stuff. Like, get up, all right, take your ass right back down. Let's keep the points going. Both Bashi and Estevam have that type of chain wrestling in them. Taira, I just think he's so good. Once he gets it down, not as much. So, yeah, love Estevam, love Bashi. I like Bunes a decent bit. Like, I will not be playing any Yanis. All right, let's keep it rolling to another solid fight that is expected to finish. Rodolfo Vieira, minus 205. Trayshawn Gore, plus 175. Minus 200 for this fight to finish. Vieira, minus 115 inside the distance. Gore, plus 340. What are we doing in this one?
Playing it. I like both sides of this one. I expect Vieira to be the much better grappler. I think he's going to get a takedown, get into a dominant position, probably lock up an arm triangle, put him away in the first round. So I definitely like Vieira. If he can't get takedowns, though, he's going to lose the fight most likely. I think Gore's the better striker. I also think Gore could knock him out in any round. So Gore's one of those underdogs who's just live to win. He's also live to put up a big score if he can get the knockout. But my pick is Vieira. First round finish, 97, 98 points. Is that enough? 97, 98 points at 8,900? I don't know.
How much?
90, let's call it 98.
I want to say maybe because, like, if I'm doing it, I probably want to leave less than like $100 or something. Like I like Rebecki more for 100 more, Reeba more for 2, Taira 3, etc. But I like Vieira more than Zeleleski, Pierre, Hosa. That's all below. So if I left $0 on that team, I think I'm good with it. The more money I keep leaving, the more I keep hating it, because like he has more upside than that. But if I saw 98, you know what I mean? Like I probably would almost like $100 max is what I would set it at, because I think those guys above, some people are sitting to score 110 plus. But you know, a $0 lineup that has 98 like left, that might just be how it goes. I don't know if that helped at all.
Yeah, I like him. I just don't know how much to like him over the guys that we've already talked about, like the Bashi and the Estam, who could score, 15 points more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be close. I'm probably gonna be relying on Saber Sim just to give me combinations of what can fit based on the projections that I'm putting in. But I like Vieira, and then Gore will just be the underdogs that I mix in. I'm not going to be making it a point to target him, but if I end up with him in a single entry, I'm fine with it.
For sure. Gore's my preferred play. Like I just need some dogs that are preferred plays at the end of the day. And because I like Rebecki more, Vallejo's more, just keep going up. I'm just hoping mainly to keep going up, and I need dogs. I mean, shout out to Ben. So plus 2,000, Gore open by sub. Nasty front choke. I mean, he's just nasty. He's getting mean in there. Now it's plus 1,000. He did get absolutely owned against Pulio, though. But man, he fought for the dollar. Like he has power. He showed that if he can keep Vieira off him at distance, which is easier said than done, or it's harder. Easier said than done. It's harder said than done. The Chris Curtis fight. Like Chris Curtis could absolutely shout out to Vieira. I didn't think he could box that well against Chris Curtis for that long without getting any takedowns, but he did keep trying. Like if Vieira fights the same fight he fought against Chris Curtis, I think he owns Tresean Gore, and eventually he does take him down and get there. Like I don't know if Tresean Gore is stuffing 20 takedowns or whatever, but man, Gore has power to keep him away. He can grab the neck. But if he goes for the neck and he doesn't get it and he's on bottom, yeah, it's probably over after that. So good fight, though. Good real-life fight. Good DFS fight. Minus 200 to finish. One of the higher inside-the-distance props on the slate. All right, let's keep it rolling to definitely not one of the highest inside-the-distance props. Rinya Nakamura minus 405. Nathan Fletcher plus 305. This fight is minus 180 to go the distance. Favored to go all 15 minutes. Nakamura plus 170 inside the distance. Fletcher plus 775. So I'm curious to hear your take here. Nakamura is going to be low owned, 9,300. He's a pivot in the upper tier with pretty much a primary wrestler, I would call him nowadays, at 2.63 with a solid inside the distance prop, open plus 180, now plus 170. I'm trying to make him sound a little better right now than you might have him due to his ownership, but a wrestler as a big favorite that's low owned, that's plus 170 inside the distance, like can he get us 110?
Yeah, I like Nakamura. I think he's a solid wrestler, much better than the guy on Tough that beat Fletcher, and kind of ran through Fletcher on the ground, like made Fletcher look like a bad grappler. I think Nakamura is much better than that guy. I think he could land a bunch of takedowns in this one. It's just I don't. It's hard to trust him after his last fight, but I'm still high on Nakamura. I like him to be the better striker, the more powerful striker. I don't know what happens if he gets taken down himself. Fletcher could definitely have success if he is the one in top control, but I don't think he's going to have success on the bottom. And that's where I see him being for the majority of this fight. Actually, I think Nakamura does wrestle and puts up a score similar to those other guys. So I guess that lower ownership, he's my definite leverage play. Fletcher, a cheap underdog who could win. I don't think I'm playing Fletcher, to be honest with you. If I'm playing 150, let me get some Fletcher exposure. But I don't think I'm going to. I think it's going to be 20 or less for me this week, and I don't think Fletcher makes that pool.
I agree. To be honest, though, had Rinya as a fade. I was debating between a couple. You said you're not playing Zeleleski and Hosa later, so I'm going to mess around and edit that. Part of the reason for me was, like, I like Vallejo's for 100 more. I like Estam for 200 more. I like Bashi for more. I like Taira for less. Taira, Reeba and Rebecki, it's close. But, like, man, his ownership could be 18%, while we're looking at like 40 plus for some of the other ones are high 30s. Like, I do think it's a significant gap, and Big Marley likes him. He can wrestle. Inside the distance is going down a little bit. Yeah. He might just be pissed off. Like, wow, I just lost as a massive favorite. I got to come out here and make a statement, and maybe he fights a little more aggressive than he has thus far. So, yeah, I'm not playing Fletcher. I'm going to play more Rinya than I initially had. Let's keep it going to the only mid-tier fight on the card. It is Andre Pulio taking on Nick Klein. We are looking at Pulio minus 150, Nick Klein plus 130, minus 200 for this fight to finish. Pulio plus 120 inside the distance, Klein plus 250. So talking line movement in this fight, we had Nick Klein open the favorite at minus 170. 30 minutes after 170, went down to plus 105. So Pulio was the favorite, hung around like the minus 110 mark. And then we had Pulio take a decent bit of money, now sitting minus 150, 130. So the line more than flipped in this one. Only mid-tier fight, minus 200 to finish. Like for me, like I said in the beginning, Hosa, who's more expensive, Zeleleski, who's more expensive, and Rodriguez. I would love, if I don't have this mid-tier fight, any of Pulio of Klein, take out any of those three and drop them to any of these two. And that if that drop in Zeleleski to Klein and I'm leaving 1,000, I think if Klein wins this fight 10 times and Dos Santos wins his fight 10 times, I think Klein scores more on average. Do you agree with that comment? And then, yeah, what are you doing in this fight?
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think Klein's best chance of winning would be get an early takedown, grab a neck, get a first-round submission, 90 plus. That's great. If he doesn't get that, I just don't think he's a good enough wrestler to really dictate where the fight is going to take place over the course of 3 rounds. And I think Puliev is going to be the clear better striker. For 15 minutes, probably not going to be good, though. At 8,400, we're going to need big scores on this card. So he's going to need the finish. I think he could get it in any round here. But I really don't want to see 15 minutes of this fight. So I'm picking Klein to get a first-round submission. I need underdogs on this card. I'm picking him. No faith, but I'll be overweight to Klein, probably around the field or so on Puliev. But yeah, I'm hoping this is over early.
Yeah, I am too. I'm going to play a ton of this fight. It's going to probably be higher owned than normal just because there isn't options around it. Again, 8,400, 7,800. Then the next highest is 86. The next closest is 86.76. Like, you're just naturally going to fall on this fight so often. And I think it's the right thing to do in a lot of fights with it minus 200 to finish. I'd rather, again, get different within this fight and just be leaving a lot more money than I otherwise would in some other fights. Again, I like Puliev Klein fight more than I like Hosa Cornell, which is the next closest price fight, more than Pierre Souza, which is the next closest price fight after that, and then Zeleleski Magny, which is the next closest fight after that. And as you can see right here, we have Puliev Klein 4-star, Zeleleski 2-star fight, Hosa 2-star fight, Pierre 2-star fight. So Big Marley agrees right there. Getting different while eating chalk, aka leaving money, being able to upgrade and not upgrading. That's how you win MMA and little stuff like that. What's up, Big Driggs? Great to see you. Ben's in here. Joanne already said hi too. Hope everybody's having a great Thursday night. Chargers stopping Detroit. I would love to keep hearing that throughout the regular season. Sorry, Hoop. I'm ready, Big Marley. Aren't you ready for some football?
I cannot wait. Yeah, I'm stoked.
Yeah. How many best ball drafts?
Total, I've probably done like 150.
Okay. I was checking mine for sure. I just had the number. I haven't done it in so long. Actually, I did a hand build, but recently I haven't done it in so long.
Yeah. I might have like 200, 250. I don't know. But like a lot of them are like $2, $3 ones that I was practicing with a couple months ago.
Yeah. No, that all counts. Still got big boy prizes up top. I think I got 149. I'm all done, though. If I do 1 or 2 fast drafts here, but the grind is over. Excited for the NFL season to come. Again, we do have our NFL or football package, I should say, because college football is included. But NFL, college football, SaberSim, the best optimizer, something coming out on August 6th. We would love to have you all access as well until football season if you do join. All right, let's get to another big favorite. It's Kevin Vallejos, -500, taking on Danny Silva, +375, -130 for this fight to finish. Vallejos, -115 inside the distance. Silva, +975. Vallejos, round one, +275. My question to you, Vallejos, does he need a first-round finish? He is surrounded by wrestling in the top tier. He is a pure striker, a very good one at that. But, like, what does he need? A first-round knockout? Is there outcomes where first-round knockouts not even enough? How does he stack up amongst, like, the Reeba or the Brevics of the world, the Bashis of the world, the Estevams, the Tairas? How does he compare to them?
Yeah, I think he could get there with a second round knockout. I mean, especially if he gets a knockdown in each round. But yeah, I would really want a first round knockout if I'm playing him.
If he pulls off a Steven win and we got Herzog wrestling or reffing.
Yeah, God, I couldn't even handle that.
Oh my gosh, that was so disgusting. The lowest scoring card ever, and then 174 piece.
Yeah, and then I was listening to Weezy and Brady on like the line movement before the fight. Man, investigate Herzog.
Yeah. What was the line movement? On the over?
Yeah, on the over. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe not, but I mean, just seeing 6 knockdowns, a little fishy as is, and then before the fight or before the card, I don't remember when it was. It was on the start of their podcast. They posted it on Twitter. If you go to Weezy's Twitter,
okay,
check it out. It's worth a watch. But Vallejo, man, he's good. He's a good striker. He's got that dog in him. He went toe to toe with Gene Silva for 3 rounds in a fun fight. Silva, he's going to need to win a striking match that's just close, or he's ahead on volume. But I just don't see how he's going to be the one pushing forward or landing the harder shots. That's going to be all of Vallejos, and I don't think Silva's going to finish him either. So I'm not going to get much Silva. He's live to win in a decision and maybe score 10x, but I think other underdogs are live as well and can score 100 points on this. So I'm probably not going to get much, if any, Silva. Vallejos will be I'm definitely fine with them. I'll be mixing them in. In my single entries, I'm usually clicking on wrestlers first. But let's say I put in Bashi and I need the 100. I'll probably go down to Estevam, and then I'm working with my dogs. If I need another 100, I'm fine going down to Vallejo. So I would say I mix him right in with them, but I always just typically prefer wrestlers instead.
I agree with you, but like I think, let's see, I'm looking at ownership. I do think Estevam's definitely higher owned. I think Bashi's definitely higher owned. I think Taira's definitely higher owned. Vallejos will be owned, though. There's no doubt about that.
Like, I mean, I picked a lot of wrestlers last week, too, I feel like. And, like, Peter Yan is on the optimal lineup, and Shara is on the lineup. So, who freaking knows?
The weirdest card ever. I mean, when all those dogs won, like, you needed Salikov's score. I mean, it just went dog. Like, dogs were hella barking. So, the favorites that did win, you just, like, people needed to spend money. Like, no one was leaving $46K. So, like, oh, this guy, you have 6 for 6 with Steven Wynn. Like, your other winners were Jan, were Shara, like, were the ones that people didn't. It was wild.
It was wild. One of the craziest DFS.
First, second, and third, the dude took. The only winner. First, second, third. Yeah. Oh, my. What a.
I'm not going to see that this week.
No. Shout out to whoever the heck that was. 140 G's or something on a Saturday.
That's crazy. All solo. That's nuts.
All unique teams. Good for him. Or her. All right, we'll keep it going. Again, appreciate like button and subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. Zeleleski dos Santos -190. Neil Magny +165. +120 for this fight to finish. Zeleleski +165 inside the distance. Magny +575. I want to go up to Reeba, to Taira, to Vallejos, to Estevam, to Bashi, to all those guys more than Zeleleski. I need to play dogs on this card, so I'm just going to say dog or pass. 75 might be enough for Magny. It's probably not enough for Zeleleski. With that being said, though, +165 inside the distance for Zeleleski. He's going to be low owned. Like, how do you see him making the optimal? Magny's wash, he just chin checks him, and that's it? Or takedowns? Like, how do you see it?
Now I think it would be a knockout TKO.
Yeah.
Or submission. I mean, he's got a submission game. He doesn't really look to use it much, but I'm just not going to be playing Zeleleski personally. I'm not going to have enough lineups to get to him. He would be a way that you can get different on this card. I just don't think he has that 110-point ceiling, just really in general. But against Magny is going to be tough too, because you would think for him to get 110, you're going to have to tire out the other guy and just beat the hell out of him. You're not going to tire out Magny. Magny's going to have the cardio edge in this one. I think Magny's the better striker. Magny could mix in takedowns too. He could. I don't know that Magny's a better striker. He's getting old. He's looking washed too, to be honest with you. But he's long. He can fight long. I think he could win moments on the feet, and then he could also mix in takedowns. So for me, it's dog or pass. If I was going to bet this fight, it's definitely the Magny side. I don't think he's got a big ceiling, but he's a live dog. I'm searching for live dogs. He could put up 10x. It's just, do I want to pick Magny, who I'm picking to win, who could get around 10x, or do I want to pick Bunes, who I'm not picking to win? But if he wins, he probably scores more than 90 points. What do I prefer there? I don't know. Usually I end up picking the guy I pick to lose because I like ceilings, but I don't know.
If I think Neil wins and I think Bunes loses on this card, I would have more Neil. I would take 70 points on this card as the dog. And then even if like he loses, I mean, you picked him to win. Maybe it goes all 15 minutes where Bunes he could have 3 at the end of the day. Probably not. Estam's not that type of guy. But if I was picking Magny, I'd want more Magny. I'd be happy with 75. But that's why that's why I MME, I should say. Like, single entry is tough. Like, having to make those decisions is really hard. Then I can be like, all right, especially with the portfolio diversifier on DraftKings, where it takes into consideration every single lineup, and if it's eating into the first plate, like, I'm just using all that technology. Give me a lot of teams with that technology. I'll mess with min-max, little stuff like that, and be good to rock. Yeah. And I definitely will get some Magny and some Bunes.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what I'm going to end up doing. I was kind of messing around with lineups right before we got on, seeing like what I would do in a single entry. And since I'm picking Magny to win, I was trying to start with him in there, and just nothing was coming together. I didn't spend too much time on it, but that makes me think maybe I'm going to have to go down to Bunes just to get up to what I do like in that 9K range.
Very fair. Yeah, Magny's going to be low on though. Yeah, shout out YSN. Neil, he likes. Finally gave him a winnable fight. Yeah, looking at it, 37 years old for Neil. He's the younger fighter. 38 years is Zeleleski, 4 inches in height, 7 inches in reach advantage for Neil. Yeah, he has a lot of advantages there. He's not taking on some absolute killer. Definitely a winnable fight for him. We will see how washed he is at the end of the day. All right, let's keep it rolling. Next fight on the card in the similar price range, Karol Hosa, 8,600 and -185, Nora Cornell +160 on the way back. The most likely fight to go the distance on the card by a lot at -450. Inside the distance props, Hosa +525, Cornell +575. I'm definitely playing Cornell. Like, this is a very similar fight to last one. The dog, if Cornell gets, it might be enough. Sure, I'll play a lot of Cornell. Money line's fine. Inside the distance is fine. She'll fight for my dollar. All of that. My question to you with Hosa, 4 of her wins by decision have scored 100+. Does she have that in this fight? Like, can she land 160 significant strikes or mix in a takedown or 2? Can she score over 100 in a decision in this fight, since I don't see it being finished?
She definitely could. And oftentimes I am picking Rosa in DFS because she's usually a slight favorite. And she's usually low owned, but I always think she's got that ceiling in her just based on high volume, and maybe she mixes in a couple takedowns as well. But on this card, there's just so many people who have more likely high ceilings where I'm not really trying to pay $8,600 to get different with Rosa. I'm not against it, but for me, it's more so going to be cornhole or pass. And I don't really like her either. It's just that she can keep this fight close anywhere. It probably won't be, the same on volume. Maybe Rosa lands 100 strikes and Cornhole lands 85, but the judges have no freaking idea. They're blind. And then Cornhole might land 2 to 4 takedowns in this fight and make it more clear that way. So I would just rather save the $1,000 on a card where I'm hunting for underdogs. I'd take my chances on the dog and what I would hope to end up in a split decision that those morons get wrong.
Yeah, those judges absolutely have zero clue. Zero clue indeed. I helped me last week, or I don't know. No, the Nikolai fight that wasn't last week. I got that one. The Ritter. I hit the Ritter pretty big. At plus money live. So yeah, shout out to those two judges right there. I can't remember who it was. Maybe Mike Bell. I don't know. That was not that was nice though. But yeah, if you have a favorite and you're going into the just mainly talking betting, if you have a favorite going to decision that's close, probably didn't get the job done anyway. But if you have a favorite, or heck, you even have a dog in a close fight that you need for DFS, it is impossible to feel good about it going. Like, there's some really, really bad judges, really bad scorecards out there that swing a lot of money. So just know that. Like, we talk MMA is one of the most variant. Like, you can argue it is because so much variance with just little gloves, with power, with any little thing that happens. Then you add in refs that, sometimes they'll stop it early. Sometimes they won't stop it at all. Sometimes this, sometimes that. And then you got judges when you need them. Heck, who even knows that? So there's layers and layers and layers of variance. Heck, they show 120 significant strikes on TV. You might look at DraftKings and see 68. Like, it's wild. But hey, we're all degens. We all love some violence. Heck, some people just like money and they got that down for MMA. It's crazy out there, but yeah, we're crazy people. It's what we love to do. All right, 3 fights left. Esteban Ribovics minus 250. Elvis Brener plus 210. Minus 120 for this fight to finish. Ribovics plus 145 inside the distance. Brener plus 415. So Ribovics looks like the Vallejos up top, except like 55 cents worse on the inside the distance. Ribovics, a striker, high volume striker. What does he need to have a chance at optimal? How much will you play of him? Are you going to play any of the other side in Brener?
I think you would need multiple knockdowns and his usual high volume. I'm not going to X him out, but I'm also not trying to get much Ribovics. I like watching this guy fight, though, man. He's just nonstop, throws punches in bunches, never slows down over the course of 15 minutes. His first fight in the UFC was just god-awful with his takedown defense, and that makes me think Brenner's live in this fight. If he's smart and goes out here looking to wrestle, he could land multiple takedowns in this fight. He also throws bombs on the feet. He could hurt Ribovics, get a knockdown or two along the way. I think Brenner's one of those underdogs who has 100-point upside in this fight. But I'm picking him to lose because Ribovics is just so good on the feet. I don't think Brenner's going to be smart enough to look to wrestle over the course of 3 rounds. Maybe he comes in hot in the first round, lands a few takedowns, but then I think he probably would start to slow down. Ribovics is not going to slow down. And then once Brener slows down, I think Ribovics puts it on him, and he might finish him in the second or the third round. And that could put him in optimal contention unless he spent too much time on his back before that. I don't know. I think it's going to be a wild fight, but I think my preferred play is just to save and go down to Brener. If I was making one lineup, I think I'd rather have Brener in this one. But I'm not sure. I put it as a 3-3 because I'd imagine I'm pretty close to the field on either.
I think the more you kept talking, the more I'm probably going to lean Brener. I like Ribovic's game a lot. I like his high volume striking. I think he has what he did to T-Rex was absolutely disgusting. I think he could repeat that. He's going to be a pivot up top. So for all those reasons, I'm definitely playing some. But man, it is hard to click strikers, especially if they're not minus money to finish the fight with all these high wrestlers up top. Like, you could see 140, and then if earlier in the fight Bashi and Esteban both score over 130, and you're sitting there with Ribovics, like, you're not feeling good that he's going to get you 130. At least Taira, you're like, okay, like, I have some outs. I don't know what
you got a 60-second window to get there.
Exactly. Or you need Herzog reffing and 95 million knockdowns and the dude to keep getting up for you. So exactly. Like, that's where, if I'm playing Ribovics, he's probably what makes me different. Like, I'm playing the chalk, I'm playing that mid-tier fight, etc. Brener is probably my preferred play. The more we kept talking about it. Let's do this. Rank them. Bunes, Brener, Gore, Magny. For me, it goes Gore, Brener, Bunes. Gore, Brener, Magny, Bunes.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I would say I don't know. I'm gonna have all of them. I'm gonna say Magny first because I'm picking them to win, and then I'm gonna bunch Bunes and Brener together because they have the higher ceilings, and then I'll put Gore last. But that probably doesn't help you at all since Todd will pick Gore first.
Yeah, good luck. Rely on Saberson. There you go. That's why we always recommend finding a process, though. Like, we're all human. Yeah, thanks, Wesley. We're all humans. We keep it real around here. We don't know the future. It's a very tough game that we play. We'll give you our honest opinions. But the best advice I can give is just like find a process in all sports. Keep working at it. Watch the education videos. Watch the Saberson videos. Go back into contests. Use contest flashback. Like, find what works for you. Because at the end of the day, you're asking, like, we're experts in quotes, whatever. Like, I'm definitely down on the year in MMA. I don't know if I'm an expert, but I can think about the game differently. But none of us know at the end of the day either. So trying to find a process that you feel comfortable about. So on the lows, you still feel confident about it. And you can keep repeating that process every single week. So shout out to Sheets. He has a lot of good videos out there as well. All right, 2 fights left. This one should be a pretty good fight. Mateus Rebecki and Chris Duncan. We have Rebecki minus 210. Chris Duncan plus 180, minus 210 for this fight to finish. Rebecki plus 100 inside the distance. Duncan plus 290. Duncan, Rebecki, who's your pick? Who's your preferred side? I see you got it 4-star and equal on both.
Yeah, I like both sides of this fight. I think it's going to be a fun fight. This could be our fight of the night here. Both guys can get wild. I think Rebecki's just better everywhere. I do like him to be the better wrestler, the better and more dangerous grappler. I like him to be the better striker because I trust his defense a little more than I trust Duncan's. I trust his chin a little bit more than I trust Duncan's. But Duncan could also win this fight anywhere. He could get a knockout. He could get a submission. He could be ahead on volume on the feet. He could land takedowns of his own. So I'm cool with both sides of this fight. I'll be mixing them both in. Because I need underdogs, I would imagine I end up with more leverage on the Duncan side of this one because when I'm really clicking my hand builds, it's hard to click Rebecki over a Taira, over a Bashi and Estam. These ones we've already talked about. When I think Duncan's in play, it's like, let me just go click Duncan and see what I could do with this lineup instead. So pick is Rebecki. Preferred play might end up being Duncan, unless Sabersim changes my mind.
For Rebecki, like, do you see this fight like becoming a high-paced like war, a scrap?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. So then that makes me like Rebecki a decent bit. Like, I was worried that like Duncan's just so like powerful. He's so heavy on his feet. Everything he throws, like, like it's with bad intention. And then it sometimes can like fear the other guy for like really going into it, which is why I asked. But if this fight turns into a war, like someone's scoring. Duncan's wild. He's powerful. Rebecki's game. He can mix in takedowns. Yeah, if the pace gets high in this fight, I'm going to want a decent bit of it. Like, I can go – Rebecki can wrestle, as we can see right here. Both can, but if you go an Estevam at 9,500 and you drop down to Rebecki, and that's your pivot for 500 less, Rebecki has a wrestling upside. Rebecki has a better inside the distance. They're like, this fight's supposed to finish. That's something I'd be fine doing. The upper tier is absolutely loaded this week. I like having a wider pool up top and a more narrow down below and just messing around up there. Anything else to add in that fight?
Yeah, this would be my pick actually for fight of the night if there were odds on that.
Yeah, I assume I think BetMGM. I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely used to be.
Yeah. Talk about another thing with variance, like especially if the fight's like the second fight of the actual card. Half the time Dana or whoever is in charge, like, they forget about it. They see a fight that's the co-main or something, like, yep, could be way worse than that earlier fight. Yeah, this is it. And you get screwed below. So yeah, it's better that it's later in the card. They remember it more, have a better chance.
Yeah.
All right, main event time. Again, appreciate everyone hanging out. hope everybody ready for some nice fights on Saturday, whatever you got planned. Enjoy it. Next thing you know, football will be here the whole weekend. MMA Saturday, football Sunday. There'll be no time for anything else. Can't wait. Tesura Taira minus 335. Hung Sung Park plus 275. We are looking fight to finish minus. It's all over the place. I'm not seeing bet online. Let's go DraftKings. Minus 185 for this fight to finish on DraftKings. Inside the distance props, Taira minus 105. Park plus 475. I want to mention line movement before you go. So this was supposed to be Taira and Albazi. Outs Albazi with an injury. In steps Hung Sun Park, was supposed to fight next week against Urseg. Now he fights this week. So the odds are new and they're very fresh. This line came out Monday, minus 300 Taira. Then it went down to as low as minus 240 a little bit later. Then Taira just took money. The next day on Tuesday, he was minus 405. Ever since then, money slowly came back on the Park side. Now it's all the way to minus 335. So minus 300, down to minus 260, up to minus 405, now back down to minus 335. Does that line movement tell you anything? How are you seeing this fight? Is it wrestler, grappler, and Taira versus striker and Park? 10-0. It's a big boy fight. What are we doing?
I mean, I'm definitely playing it. I'm going to be playing both sides of it. I like Taira overall. I just think he's going to be the better, slicker grappler, more ready for a 5-round fight, and more likely to win in a 5-round fight as well. Park's never been 5. I think he's got 100% finish rate. He doesn't go deep into fights. He should have the striking edge, in my opinion, over Taira. And he's also a good grappler, but I just think Taira's going to make this a grappling fight, and he's better there. So I'm picking Taira by submission, but I might end up with more leverage on the Park side just based on the 9K range being so tough. Maybe I want Bashi and I want Estevam more. If I get Park, it allows me to do that. So I don't know. It depends on what the builds look like, and I'm probably just going to make 20 lineups, X out the guys that we've talked about not liking, and then see what the Saber Sim gives me based on the underdogs that I do like, the favorites that I bump up more. There's just so many ways to go on this card, but I don't want to make 150 lineups to get them all. So I'm going to try to limit my lineups. I'm not going to be leaving 1,000 plus on the card this week. I'm probably going to be leaving more like 1 to 500 or something like that. I'm probably not going to hit solo, but if I can hit first, I'm happy. So
yeah.
Whatever Saber Sim gives me on this fight, I'm cool with it. But my pick is Taira. That little lineup that I built right before, I ended up having to put Park in it. I'm not going to end up rolling it out in any single entries. I didn't even save it. But Park is what ended up being what fit. So we'll see what happens. I think it should be a fun grappling match, though, for as long as it lasts.
Yeah. I'm not going to make a rule to have 100%. A Taira second round submission or something like the upper tier is strong enough for Taira win, scores 101. It might not be enough. If Park wins, I find it very hard he won't be optimal, almost for that reason. And I think he's lower owned, and you get the most leverage off of probably Taira's the chalkiest. So probably Park is my preferred play of having to choose. I might be more overweight Park. But again, a lot of that has to do with I just don't like many dogs down below. It is a huge step up for Park, though. It's definitely a step down from Taira. I mean, split decision against Royval for his only loss. Like, that's impressive. It's really hard to pick Taira in this spot. The number is big. Park looks to be game. It's a good fight. I might not have 100%, though, but probably I'm fine if I'm more overweight either side. I'm not going to be really strict on it. I do know I want, like, if I had 30% Taira, which is definitely underweight, I'd be fine with it. If I had 8% Park, which is definitely underweight, I would boost Park. Like, I want more than that for sure. If he wins, he probably scores. Any final thoughts on this one, Big Marley? 12 fights. Fingers crossed. We keep all 12. Everything will be up tomorrow as always. But if we keep 12 fights, 100K up top, it's never bad.
Truth. No, I mean, well, you speaking of line movement for what it's worth, I would line Taira right at minus 260. So I think he's a little high right now personally. Park's good everywhere. I think it's a great test to see how good Park really is, and then a good bounce back fight for Taira coming off a loss. But I think it's a solid main event to boost them both up. But Hopefully one of us can hit the optimal. If not, hopefully somebody listening does. Good luck to you, Title. Good luck to everybody listening as well. Let's ship it.
Let's ship it indeed. And we would love if you shipped it over to shippingnation.com. We'd love to have every single person, a lot of members in the Discord already, the best NFL deal. When you start seeing others roll out their NFL package, we've been thinking about it for a while. We'd love to see and have back some of the members that joined or that stopped after NFL last year coming back on board. So much, over $500 in early bird bonuses when you sign up. College football, a great team. Mystery bonus we're coming out with August 6th. Free all access until football season, a mastermind course as well. NFL only. You can find that on the Shipping Nation page. We also do have weekly and monthly options. Hey, there we go. Got a welcome back deal. Free 30 days. Great to have you back, YSN. Get in the Discord if you do join. That's going to do it for us, though. Enjoy your weekend. For Big Marley, I'm Title Town. Good luck. Be safe. Enjoy some violence. Peace.